I was wrong.
Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. Oops. Oh, shoot. Good night, everybody. Good day, everybody. Or everybody is well. I am your host, Neil Hoyt, and you're joined by my other host, Derek Marshall, and this is the Senate Podcast. We're here once again to the Senate. We're here to engage you all again on some man woman business, some man empowerment, some space where everybody could talk, particularly men, can have a voice to talk about things to kind of bridge the divide between men and women, and for people to understand men a bit more, especially men today. And Claire Best is here, logged on. So glad to see you, Claire. The Senate, we want a space where y'all could understand how men think a bit more. We have a space where men could understand what other men are going through. We want women to understand what men are going through, and we want to understand women as well within the context of relationships, what they want, what we have to offer, what we are willing to offer, and all of those good feelings. Because as I said before, there is no manual for life, so we can try our best to help. All right, brother, how these unprecedented times.
Unprecedented. I am here. I am well. As always, I'm very hot because the past couple of days, it got to be everything pinned down because you can't. It's only that in the ash, so everything pinned down. I got the fan on me right now. I got the door cracked, and I'm hoping that it will provide a little relief from the heat. But nonetheless, I am here. I am ready. Got a little coffee here and some water. I am ready to tackle. Yeah, man, I need a little kick of caffeine. I ease off the energy drinks a little bit. So I just need a little bit of caffeine in the system to keep me charged up for tonight. But I am ready to deal with the issues at hand because I see the ladies seem to have no faith in the dating pool.
Boy.
So I am ready to tackle that head on and see what responses we get tonight. But how has the ash been treating you, my friend?
Boy, in north of the island, we have had so much ash. It makes me kind of feel, because they know this is but a fraction of what people in St. Vincent are going through.
For sure.
And, obviously thoughts and prayers with them. I have some family over there, so everybody is safe, but still, we know a lot of people going through a lot over there. But yeah, I mean, there's some cleaning up today, some sweeping or whatnot, and literally 3 garbage bags full of ash and about 40 pounds each. And we ain't done yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I never thought I would deal with volcanic ash in my lifetime, but you know what? We're here, we're alive. I am thankful. I am thankful we are here. Everybody is joining us. Good night, Sia. Good night, Jennifer. Claire says she's skinning her mouth already, and we ain't gonna start yet. Well, let's start now then. So, you know how we do it. Oh, before I forget, we forgot a part of our tradition in our opening. Derek, we have in there at the beginning. What we do, plug your stuff, let people know where they can find G Syndicate. With that music I was playing earlier.
Yeah, man, gsyndicate6.com. You can check us out on our website, gsyndicate6.com. You can also check us out on the social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, G-Syndicate6 on those platforms. And everything you need to know about G-Syndicate, shout out to you guys. We've got a couple requests for some work coming out of the current lockdown. But we still, obviously, virtual stuff, but we'll see how that goes. It's, as you said earlier, unprecedented times. We're trying to cope with everything, trying to get back into actually doing rehearsals and stuff like that. So, challenge here to meet them head on.
Yeah,
that's as good as we can do right now. But yeah, let me get cracking tonight.
Right. So normally, what for all of those who are new to us, Khadija, I hope I pronounce your name right, Khadija. Yeah, Khadija, I think I know. Yeah. Thanks for joining. For those who are joining us for the first time, thanks for joining us. Everybody, our faithful, thanks for joining us. Normally, what we do is on Mondays, Derek would post a Facebook. On Monday yesterday, he posted a status on what we'll be talking about today. And then we usually go through what we mean and what does that mean. So we're talking about dating pool today, Derek. I can let you read your commentary, your status, but my only request here is for letting people understand when we say the dating pool and there being urine in the dating pool, what we exactly mean by that. So take it away.
Right. So the question for yesterday was, as you age, do you find you have more and better options, or does the dating pool have pee in it? Have men and women alike walked away from the dating pool? If so, what can be done to clean the pool and get both sides back in the pool? That was the question for yesterday. And we're talking about that pool, the options you have available to you, obviously, for dating, etc. Right? So for men, and women alike, I guess that's going to be generally legal adults. But yeah, these are different times, so you can't even say of the opposite sex because it may or may not be a same-sex relationship. So even if it is a same-sex relationship, legal adults, right? So people 18 years over, consenting adults. That's the term I'm looking for, right? And they're supposed to be of any age, right? And then when you talk about the pee in the pool now, what does that really look like, right? What does pee in the pool really look like? And I think that's we really have to kind of define, kind of work out a little bit before we can start to really press on and really tackle how we're going to clean up the pool and get people back into it, right? Because I think you need to ask yourself a couple questions, right? Because for me, and I know this might seem strange to those who are listening and are familiar with how I deal with these things. For me, I think the dating pool is fine, right? I think the dating pool is fine. The challenge we have is your expectations when you enter the pool, right? And that's across the board. So you might be somebody who is, because now we in online dating and stuff like that. You got Tinder, Bumble, Christian Mingle, all these different things. So it's kind of a little bit more of a hookup kind of culture. And you might be in it looking for that, right? That might be what you are, in the pool for. And I'm certain you can find that, right? You might be looking at somebody you want to date casually for a little bit, because it might not be just the let me hit it and quit it kind of thing for you. You may want to get into something. You go share a couple of dates and stuff like that. Nothing too heavy, and then when it's finished, you're done with that. You might be looking for that? Shoot, I'm certain there's something out there for you as well. And even for those who want to get into LTR, long-term relationship, there's something out there for you in the pool. And those who want to take the long-term relationship now a step further into marriage, I really think we need to have a podcast. We're going to talk about marriage a little bit more in depth, right? I think we got some opposing views on that. But yeah, we can talk about that down the road. And there's something in the pool for you if you're looking for marriage, right? But I think it might be a case of our approach to the pool, what we expect to get from the pool, and that is where the conflict kind of comes, because it may be a case where you go into the pool as a female looking for long-term relationship, looking for marriage, and you meet a guy who's in the pool for the hookup or just a casual dating thing, and then because your intentions are at cross purposes, that's where the issues come. That's where you get the little bits of friction and problems, essentially, at the end of the day. And conversely, Because shoot, there's some men who are looking for long-term relationships, looking for marriage, and you may go into a situation hoping to get that, and then the lady you're going into the situation with is like, yeah, I really want that. I just want a little. The classic you get, fellas, you could put some ones in chat if you ever hear this. I know get a relationship, so I'm really ready for this. So she just bought a little quick hookup, a couple foodie calls, casual dating or whatever, or move on. And you as a man now, you are left to kind of pick up the pieces. So I think it's a case of having to work out up front what it is you really want out of the relationship, and then you can kind of go forward a little bit more from there, you know. And I think that's where, because men, you know, we generally want to get some action, right? So we are more inclined to say what
We're
we think.
busy.
Yeah, you know, we're more inclined to say what we think the lady wants to hear. So we, and then we kind of try to work it out after that. You know what I mean? But I think it starts with intention. I think it starts with intention. If your intentions are clear, I think it's easier for you to communicate those. I think it's also that you gotta be. We talk about the unsexy conversation. You know what I mean? If you're about it, just say so. You know what I mean? And if you are about it, say so.
Yeah,
That's on both sides. So if you as a man, if you're about the marriage thing, say yeah, I about it. You know, there's what you're looking for. And you as a woman, if you are not about that, if you don't think that this is the guy for you, but you, yeah, I wouldn't mind getting away, say so. But
mm-hmm.
press brakes on the marriage thing. Of course, if you as a female, because statistically speaking, females tend to be a little bit more open to the idea of marriage. If you're about long-term relationship, marriage going forward, I feel that you should be able to communicate that on the first date, because that could set it off the rails real fast. But
No.
um, I would
No.
still suggest that you kind of let it be known, because there's always a little bit of courting, a little bit of talking going on. You let me know, but yeah, that's my intention someday to move to that point. You know what I mean? And that conversation goes on well, as opposed to the man just saying, "What you boy? I gone, I roll out." You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it starts with intention and a matter of making intentions clear. So yeah, I think we gotta start from there before we start really just looking at the pool and saying that the pool has pee in it.
Well, I want to add to that, right? I mean, yes, I agree with everything you said. First things first. Good night to Tonya, Natalia, Chad with the ones in the chat. Shamika, thanks for coming out. Good night, everybody. As I was saying, I agree with you, Derek, in terms of intention. But I think another thing, first things first, you know, as you get older, your options should, because the first part of that question is, as you age, are your options getting better, or does the pool have pee in it, right? And in my opinion, I think as you get older, your options should be get better, because you're in a more stable place financially. You're in a more stable place, hopefully mentally, physically. You know who you are. Dating in your 40s is different from dating in your 30s, is different from dating in your 20s. Shoot, dating in your 60s is different from dating in your 50s, is different from coming down, right? And but I think the reason why people see it as having pee in it, and I would admit that there are times where I do believe that there's a bit of pee in it, and I can tell you why. It's because of the toxicity people have. And when I say toxicity, I mean some of the traumas that people keep walking around with and either avoiding or not dealing with. We all have baggage, we all have things going on, and as we get older, we don't heal from things, whether it be a bad breakup, whether it be an issue at work, or an issue with a death in the family or a loved one. We walk around with so many different things on our soul, on our spirit. And then when we try to engage in a relationship, along with the expectations you mentioned, and along with not being clear on what your intentions are, you find yourself in a situation where the dating pool, the dating scene is kind of toxic. You know, you made mention of getting together on a casual situation, getting together for sex, and then both parties involved are on the same page, but then it evolves into something more. I think that again, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to heal from your previous traumas or whatever, and you need to be honest with the person that you're dating. If it has evolved into things have changed, things have evolved. I would like to take this to another level. Do you agree with that or whatever? If you do create that space of having that communication, you can also talk about where you are in terms of mentally when it comes to relationship, because you can mention that I want to move forward. I know I said before that I am not about a serious relationship, but now that I am vibing with you and I feeling the story about you, I am about a serious relationship, but I have things I need to heal from. I think both parties need to have that type of conversation once the time is right, as you say, not on the first date, but down the line you have that conversation and you say, well, whether it is you're into a you're not in a long-term relationship, or it started off casual, but you want it to be long-term, or both parties were not on the same page. You kind of create that space to have that communication to be on the same page. And yeah, the toxicity or the P in the dating pool comes from people having bad experiences and holding on to them. You made a mention today. Today we were in a group chat talking to a male friend of ours, a close friend of ours, and because he was saying that he gave his all, and he when he was younger, he didn't want to try. He said that he ain't ever give his all, so that if it doesn't work out, the excuse will always be he never gave his all, so it didn't work out. But then in a relationship, he gave his all. It went south, and now he's left picking up the pieces. And he made mention today that you know he tried his all, but it didn't work out, and everything like that. And made allusions to that he won't try again or anything like that. And I have been there too, where he said, "Nah, I ain't trying again. I ain't dating no more, whatever, whatever, whatever." But you said something that was so poignant. You said, "Saying you won't try is a loser's mentality, because winners try, they fail, they get up. Losers don't try at all." And when you said that, I was like, yo, 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 that is a bar. That is lyrics. Because like that
Lyrics.
person that we were talking about, I was lyrics. Lyrics.
Yeah, little
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but
Sure, what
right.
I'm
So when you
saying.
said that today, because I remember yeah, what was I saying? I remember a few ago after America, I was kind of like in that space. Yeah, boy, to hell with relationships, to hell with dating. But as time went on, I am now in a space of willing to try again. I would say I am very discerning with who I try again. If I can try with somebody new again, because I find again the same thing that we were talking about. People are not genuinely honest with themselves about trauma and about intentions, and you have to be very careful about what somebody saying what's going on with my feet. TC, be a little clear about what's going on with my feet. Wait, hold on.
Stick here from time to time.
Oh, that's connection based. I sorry. I could try my best when they're talking. I can try my best to see if I could fix it, but I can only do so much. So bear with us. But yeah, I would say for me, I am willing to try again, but I am going to be very, 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 very selective with who I try again, because um, I am very big on sticking. All right. Thanks, Jennifer, TC, and Renee. Again, when they're talking, I can see if I could deal with my Wi-Fi or whatever. But yeah, the I would try again, but I am very discerning now going forward. As a matter of fact, I made mention last week that I don't know if I would try with somebody new. I would try with somebody that has already, like somebody I've dated before, or an ex of mine. And even then, I ain't even sure, because we all been through a lot. But um, I am open to trying again. And yes, it is a daunting process, but you have to have the unsexy questions, as we always say every week here on the podcast. You have to have the unsexy questions and say, look, sweet girl, these are my traumas. There is things I'm looking to work on for myself. Not only trauma, because it's all not only about the negative, but you talk about what your goal in terms of health, wealth, finance, everything. encompassing you. You talk about your goals and where you'd like to get to, and let it be a very honest and transparent conversation, and encourage that person to speak with you on that as well, so that you can, boy, ain't easy out here in these streets here, but you gotta keep pressing. So I think that I agree with everything that you said, Derek. Just to add my 2 cents, don't bleed on someone who hasn't cut on you. Fact on fact on fact, and I am guilty of that. I am guilty of being very afraid of 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 long-term relationships because of things that would have happened in my past, where years would have gone on and certain plans would have been made and we were in the full swing, and then things kind of went upside
Yeah.
down and car turn over and drama. So I think for me, it is not necessary. It's not that I don't want to get in a long-term relationship. It is more the time, energy, and effort that you put into that person and relationship, whilst trying to balance yourself, and then things change with either that person or with your dynamic, and you got to be committed to maintaining that dynamic, and pressing forward. So um, exes are exes for a reason. Start fresh, clear. You sound like a woman that married. You sound like a woman that married, and they ain't gonna be starting over in the time soon. So um, yeah,
Terencia is saying most people always show their best self in the early stages. So when do you see yourself having that not so sexy conversation?
well, I think that comes with time. That comes with getting to know the person and getting to feel comfortable and secure with that person, and feeling safe emotionally to broach that conversation with the person. I know Derek may not like to hear that whole emotional vulnerability thing, right? But we men are afraid of it. No lie, we men are afraid of the emotional side of relationships. But once you feel comfortable, man or woman, man and woman, once you feel comfortable, or whatever is your preference, if you move into a space where you feel like, look, everything going well, I enjoy spending time with this person, you acknowledge or you get confirmation that this person enjoys spending time with you and they wish to carry it to another level. So I like to call it in stages, right? So you go in the dating phase, you go on a 1 date, you go on a 2 date, how many ever dates until you feel comfortable that you want to share intimate things about yourselves, things that you would not normally tell people. Now that moves from a stage of we hanging out to dating. Once you're dating and you're talking on a certain level, then you can decide. You could talk and say, okay, are we boyfriend and girlfriend? Are we making are we evolving this relationship? And if you're evolving, and at every stage, you have that conversation where it's like, okay, so we were hanging out for a couple of times. I enjoy spending time with you. You enjoy spending time with me. I want to date you exclusively. Um, Here is where I am and what I am thinking for the long term, and these are things that I am comfortable with and not comfortable with. Things I need to wait. Justin Marvel, get on, brother. Things that you want to talk about, or you want, if you want to heal from things or not. So I can't say there's a specific time. I think that depends on your relationship. It depends on you. It depends on your partner. It depends on the safety and security within that emotional realm that you have with your partner. And once you feel comfortable, you can bring it up.
We
To
got
say
we got to do a whole show for emotional vulnerability for you.
not for me, for you, because I ain't got no problem with it. I ain't got no problem with it.
Anyhow, let me
Uh,
just to kind of respond to some of the stuff you said. Um, you said that you found that as you get older, sorry, you believe as you get older, you should get better options. You should get more options. I think that only applies um, for men. Sorry, ladies. Um, as we get older, we tend to have um, a little bit more available to us because now as you, all the things you said about you're more stable financially, etc. All those things. Um, Women, unfortunately, don't seem to have that luxury because um, people who are looking to men who are looking to have children, etc. They're not necessarily going to go and look for a woman who's 40 or 45 years old. They're going to look to get a younger woman. So immediately, somebody who is looking to start a family, the women who are shoot probably even in the late 30s, maybe automatically ruled out because somebody said, a little too old for me. Sorry, ladies. Again, this is not meant to be pejorative or disparaging or anything like that. We're just talking reality, right? But again, so females in particular, sorry to tell you, but it seems as if your options tend to shrink the older you get. Men, for us, it tends to be to work the opposite, and that we because we could date. It might not look cool. I've heard it say, you see, Richie that's 70 and got a 30-year-old, you know what I mean? But it's available to him. You know what I mean? Lionel Richie, for example, who's 71 years old, has a 30-year-old girlfriend. He can date from 20s all the way up to 70 if he wanted. You know what I mean? But if Lionel Richie wanted to have children tomorrow, he certainly can. He can do so, but he certainly can't do so with somebody in his age bracket.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? So immediately now, like all those women from 40 up to 71, his age range ruled out. So, and immediately now he's looking at, let me say, 18 to, let's say 35, 36, 37 at a push, right? Mid-30s. So men tend to have a few more options as we get older. Also, we're a little bit more settled in life. We ain't as quick to run around and whore about, for want of a better term. So I think that
you got the energy. You got the energy.
And the energy, not the inclination. Probably not the inclination because we don't have the energy. You know what I mean?
The energy, yeah.
We are less inclined to do that, and as a result, we are more settled. We are more assured of yourself and stuff like that, and that is very attractive to women. So that's another thing you got to consider as well. And somebody say you sound scarred or scared, but they say scared, and then said it was a typo of being scarred.
Oh.
Yeah.
That could be a bit of both.
A bit of both, and but I encourage my men in the chat to walk with what I like to call an abundance mindset.
Jeez, hombre, get him.
Abundance mindset. So, man, we talked about it earlier today. When you said when they said there was a losing mentality. You try, you fail, or you get it. That's something. Try again, because losers sit on the sideline to point and laugh at people who are actually doing something. You know what I mean? So, and that's for anybody in the chat now. Try, push forward, do something, right? Because you might be afraid to go there, you get hurt. You can get hurt. It's like playing cricket. You play fast bowling. As good as you are, as good as the eye you may have, as quick as your reflexes are, somebody can hit you.
I play cricket. I play cricket since first form when I get that bouncer. So
there you go.
That would tell you.
So yeah. And that's the key to playing fast bowling is you gotta recognize, all right, I can get hit. There's a possibility of me getting hit. But if I could just weather the storm, I could kind of get through it, keep your eye on the ball. That's the first thing. Because it's not wrong being scared, but you got to keep your eye on the ball. Right? Keep your eye on the ball, and you'll be able to negotiate. If it's too high, you just sway out the way, you duck under it, whatever. And then you get sad, you hit it. You know what I mean? But as soon as you have this approach of fearful, somebody in the chat gave me the scripture. God has not given you a spirit of fear. I think that Timothy or something so about there, right? Somebody in the chat that's a Bible person, just check it out for me, right? But yeah, we put the spirit of fear. Men in particular, I got a good friend of mine, his mother used to say, you never run behind a bus, nor a woman, another one gonna come along. And those in the chat who know me very well will know exactly who that is, so I'm not gonna out the person, right? So men in particular, you don't have to do that chasing, which brings me to this next point. We're going to put on that side. So this next point, are we, this is a question for the ladies now, are we a little too quick to X out potential relationships or pass up on people because of past trauma? We've seen a situation where we didn't properly heal. We got hurt before we didn't properly heal. And then we see something that looks like what we didn't experience before. And our first instinct is to shut up shop and run.
Cut down and come in.
Yeah, cut down and come in. This boy ain't too hot, boy.
Yeah.
Cut down and you gone, right? You know what I mean?
I'm guilty of that.
Right? And yeah, so, and it can be played on both sides, but I really want the women to ask that. I don't know. Ladies, I don't want you to get triggered. I don't want to get any feelings. Right? I really want you to think about it honestly, as objectively as possible. Is it a case where you kind of saw some stuff and you decided, you know what, I see this before, deuces, and
and this look familiar.
It looked familiar. It looked like something I see before. So I know. We can go and do a show about cheating, right? Because that's a big thing for the women too, right? So
hold on. For us men, it's called exercising options.
Exercising options.
Don't take. Listen, we can talk about that when the time comes. Don't get for me for that. That is right. A school of thought that someone else has. But
so yeah, ladies, I really want you to think if it's a case you've seen something before. You've seen it, and then you decided, you know what? I gone. This is too much for me. Out. But maybe it could have been something that you could have kind of resolved, worked through. Because, and I don't want you to think of the options of, or look at it as a case that I could do bad by myself. I don't want you to look at it that way, because I don't want you to think the options are a bad man or no man. If you get what I'm saying. How about thinking of it as, all right, got a man, he ain't 100%, but he like 95, we can work for the other 5, you know, that kind of thing. Or you just decide, you know what, I got here by myself, you know what I mean? It's a little different. No. In the past couple of weeks, I was telling you it was windy season. It's kite season outside. Night's cold.
But it's ash season.
It's ash season though. You want somebody to power wash your house or to see what's an ash. At least you don't be doing that back breaking work on your own. You know what I mean?
It's about to clear the guttering.
You need somebody to gut my roof and clear the guttering. So it might be a case where you can't do bad by yourself. And that question was actually submitted to me like minutes before we became live. Somebody wanted to know if we were a little too quick to kind of, because of our past hurts, and if it's a case where we haven't healed properly. Shout out to my guy Catlin for that question. You know what I mean?
I see Catlin tonight, but yeah, shout out Catlin.
Yeah. And I really feel we need to all look at it. And I want you women to do that in particular because, as I pointed out just now, your options decrease as you get older. And you still want, as Natalia would say, roll over and put your leg over somebody at 2:37 a.m. You know what I mean? I know we got Nick in the chat.
The comforter, my hot water bottle.
Water bottle. But you still want somebody to, throw the leg over at 2:37 a.m. Somebody to say, "Man, go up by roof and clearly I got take the ash out of the guttering." See if any leaves there or something. You know what I mean? So, are we a little too quick to push off? Men, are you looking at life with an abundance mindset? And then the question, this is a real kicker here. This is a question for me. I really, because you mentioned, you said something about it. Oh yes, when you talked about being discerning. And my question to the chat, when you think back on all the bad episodes you would have had in relationships and stuff like that. Like, please do not get me wrong. They got some real strange people out there, right? And strange is the word I'm
Yeah.
got some real strange people out there.
Mhm.
But let me go look at it the other way. As I told you guys already, I watch a lot of paternity court, right? I know you don't dig the paternity court, but
I can't get
I
them.
like it. I find it good entertainment. Very often on paternity court, a woman would come to court and immediately from the time the judge asks her perspective, her immediate thing is, well, this fool, this clown, this deadbeat, this all kind of pejorative stuff to say. And then you're thinking to myself, but you lay down with this man though. And you didn't only lay down with this man, you decided you were going to produce a child with this man.
This man.
And you kept this man, this child, right? We get it. We know it is. Everybody has different views on termination of life, etc. Right? But
Mhm.
you decided to produce with all the available options we have for birth control, etc. You still produce with this dude. So whose fault is it? Right? I have a very good friend, or they look, man, say it all the time for years, right? If you lay down with dogs, expect some fleas. Expect some fleas.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And we talk about this being discerning, and I think that's where we really have to start. We got to take a little bit more accountability for our own actions. If you go and you get involved with an idiot, don't get vexed with clowns for being clowns when you going to the circus.
Hey,
Stop
man.
going to the circus. You know what I mean? So I really think it starts with our own accountability, and we have to
Yes.
be a little bit more discerning in who we decide we are going to lay down with, exchange bodily fluids with, even mix company with. I think we really have to
Mhm.
be a little bit more discerning when we decide we can go down certain roads with certain people. And own your shit. Own it. If you made a mistake, own it. But don't be vexed with the world if you make a mistake and it ain't work out. If you decide that you know a man that don't work nowhere, he didn't work in nowhere when you get together with him. He come down, you get a child free, he still don't work nowhere. I know you come and put people TV and social media platforms and all that thing. Are you cussing him on? Why?
Why? Are you cussing him in period because of the experiences with this man?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So choose
Uh,
well first. Choose well first. That's the first thing. If you choose poorly, you gotta own it. And all is not lost. You can still kind of salvage it. You can salvage it, but many get around that angry women. That's a fact. Many get around that angry women because by the same token, women, you don't want a deadbeat man. You don't
you don't
want
want
a
the dead
deadbeat man,
horses on you. You don't want the
right?
dead
So
horses on
when
you.
they tell you a man said to you, you want to know whatever criteria you as an individual have set out, you want to know this man meets this criteria. If you know the man don't meet that criteria,
Keep it moving.
keep it trucking.
Keep it
Keep it
moving.
trucking. Yeah? Let me just check in the chat because it's been a
All
while
right.
and
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
expect
I
this.
going from clear. I going
It's
from
been
clear. Clear
a
says, man, look, I
little.
walked away from a one-sided relationship and met someone 3 weeks later, and we are married now. Start fresh. Clear cat lugging dog. Look.
But
Congratulations,
I will
but
say it clear. I will say it clear to that point. Steve Harvey tells a story about when he was coming up. He had an old car. And he used to tell his mother all the time, I got bad new car, I got bad new car, bad new car. Weeks this thing going on. At one point, his mother said to him, you ain't gonna ever get a new car. And he was like, why? Why you say that? She said, well, if you buy a new car, where you gonna put it? The old one's still here. And he got the ready old car, and what's bang before you could blink, he had a new car. So that's exactly what happened, Claire. You made room, you made room for the new car. Abundance mindset.
I said, yeah. She we shop going on hard. Let me read quick. I had this TC. I had the confirmation, so it's not a lopsided conversation. It's absolutely necessary. Some people not even reading the same book. Facts. Yeah, Dion is here. Clear. Good night, Dion. Thanks for coming. Tony, thanks for coming out. Derek, why you in my business? I'm not sure what that is. Jennifer, yes, they do. Derek, yes, it's TC. Yes, there are options shrink as we age. Capital got some old men doing the most. That's a fact. Anastasia, thanks for your comment. As you get older, the options become very small and laced with fee. We get into it. We get into it. TC, women are not so comfortable with the constant dust off. Try again. I'm speaking for myself. This is not to say that I am bitter. I just hold on to my emotional space as my prized possession. I agree with that. I'm the same way.
I can agree with that.
I take her. Yeah, I mean, it's very hard for me to dust off, especially when, I really commit to the person. Anastasia responding to Terencia. At some point, you get tired dusting off and trying again. That only sounds good in the song. I guess you're talking about Aaliyah. I, I, speaking of it there, I would say, yes, it is hard. I'm not saying it's not hard. That's why they have things like therapy. You talk with your friends. You kind of recenter yourself, find yourself, remember who you are, remember your purpose, and kind of lean back on those things. And then you will find the strength to move forward. It's not easy, but Rian, good night. Thanks for joining us. My man Fernando, thanks for coming out again, brother. Terencia, no, I will play every ball on its merit. Derek, okay. Khadija, yes, we're scarred. Anything that reminds me of past trauma is cut off without hesitation. It's true. And I want to say to this, because Derek made mention of this, I am starting to realize that that's not fair to the person that you're moving forward with, or it's not fair to yourself to hold on to past trauma because, because somebody does something similar to an ex. And I'm not talking about the extremes now. I'm talking about anything. It could be something as communication, willing to be emotionally vulnerable in a situation. It could be many things. I'm not talking about the big ones like cheating or abuse or cold behavior or anything that goes too far outside of your requirements for a relationship. You can't hold on to it. Me personally, I am personally working on letting go of things from the past, letting go and forgiving situations, myself, the other people, of things that happened in the past. Because for me, my fear is rooted into committing to someone long term, doing the whole nine, planning, working toward goals and dreams, and then 10 years from now, the person look at me and tell me, well, I fall out of love with you. That's a big fear of mine. And for me, I have to work on letting that go, letting go of that past and moving forward with everything. So yeah, we scarred, but you can't hold on to it as TC said, like a prized possession. You gotta kind of know when to let it go. It can feel comfortable because you ruminate in that misery so long, you kind of use it as a crutch. But sometimes you gotta let it go if you want to move on in life. And I'm not even just talking about relationships, but for yourself. Tonya, I have been guilty of that in the past. Yep. Renee, I don't think everyone is too quick. Some of us are very measured in our decision making. That is very true. Samantha Daniel, never saw his name before. Welcome, Samantha. Thanks for the comment. Thanks for joining us. Hi, I don't think women are quick to do this. To this. We tend to hold on long, maybe in times longer than we should. Rianne, of course. I won't say it's only women. Maybe that's the maybe statistics. If we were to look at the numbers, it would be a women majority. But men hold on to stuff too. Men hold on. Trust me when I tell you, I know men that get off of the committed relationship train because of a horn the whole 35 years ago. 20 years ago, right? Yes, they would get into relationships, but they already know within their head a woman gonna harm me. So, as some people, as Viz like to say, the man ain't want to get beat one love. So he ain't taking that. So Damien, thank you for joining us, my brother. Hope all is well. Fear is a mind state. What truly matters is how you deal with it. That is a fact. Red flags are there to help us see. But you see, Jennifer, or red flags, and I wanted to talk about red flags too. A lot of us have red flags, and a lot of us see things as red flags and bold. But not every red flag deter, deserve. They have not what's a deal breaker. What is something that we absolutely will not put up with, and we may have to adjust this as we go on with the person that we are seeing or dating, and we have to discern whether we are going to see this and mark this as a red flag, or if, depending on what your red flags are, if you can say, you know what, I can live with this. Because if we were to go by every red flag, trust and believe, the first person that come along, as soon as them shoot, it could be how they say good morning. You might say, see me, I can't deal with that. That's a red flag. And you gone, but you realize you missed out on a nice person. You got to be patient, and you have, as Renee said, a measured response, and you have to be true to yourself and to what you want, but still you can't just cut and run just so. Because you might miss something. I mean, you can know. I mean, you would know. Rian can't keep making the same mistakes. Dion, thanks for joining us. I think it happens because it's like a triggering event. Until you are healing or on the road to healing, you won't be able to judge it on its own, on its individual merit. I completely 100% agree. Not healing or not being on the road to healing will skew your judgment, and it will skew your decision-making process in relationships, and you will be quick to fall back on bad behaviors or see things for bad behaviors in your partner that really aren't there. Trust me. I agree with this completely.
When you talk about that,
go ahead.
You always say we need what? Therapy, man. Let's get through therapy.
That's my
and also, Omar, shout out Omar, my brother Omar. He gave me the Bible verse. He's a little more spiritual than I am. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. Right? So those of you who want to...
in the neighborhood? You were in the neighborhood?
Yeah, I had the Timothy part, but he brought it home for me.
Okay. Yeah, Jennifer, but there you can do bad by yourself. I think.
But what you want to do bad though? What you want to do bad?
That ain't really fun. Trust me. In the long term, that's not what we want. You know, we fool ourselves and say, "Shoot, I just want to have sex. I just want to be on my own. I want to do as bad as I like." We don't want that.
Yeah, because
we don't want that.
I think it's been glorified. This thing about I gotta blame Tyler Perry for this. Oh, I could do bad all by myself. And you know, these strong, independent women. I don't need no man. You know, until
you need batteries. You don't need a man until you need batteries, boy.
You don't need a man until you short for batteries. You know what I mean? Or until is a case of, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. It's all year's night, and you don't pay Hilton, sign up with a bottle of wine by yourself, half bottle of wine by yourself, because your girlfriend's going out. You know what I mean, with a man, or it's Valentine's night, or you gotta get together some girlfriends and y'all got Galentine's night, or buy each other gifts and stuff. You know what I mean? Because nobody ain't got a man, right? We are still social beings. This is why we're struggling so much with this lockdown, curfew, and all that stuff. Because we still want to interact. We still want to interact. We still want to share experiences. We still want to socialize. You know what I mean? I think we really need to stop telling ourselves this lie.
Stop fooling ourselves for social media, for your friends, man. Stop it.
Yeah, that we don't need the
companionship,
validation, the companionship, the affection of somebody else, opposite or same sex. You know what I mean? Stop fooling yourself. Anyway, we get back in these comments.
Right, Blair. That exercise is optional only for certain men, Chief. Most men should stick to one. Most of us don't know how to do it right. Blair, we can get there. I half agree with you, and I part agree with you, and we can get there in another episode. But yeah, hold that comment, because we can get to that later. TC, my neighbor, and I work together today. Let me tell you, boy, The ash was rough. Renee, it also depends on what the thing was that caused the hurt. Some things are so jarring and scarring that you don't think you can manage navigating through it. Fat on fat on fat. Fat. I ain't gonna get into it, but I would have rather take a horn. That's all I can say about that. Trust and believe. Yeah, there are certain things that have happened and that you realize that have happened so late into the game, and you've invested so much that it really is a scarring thing, and it was jarring. So I completely agree with that. I think, and there's Rian, I think we will keep choosing what we are used to, and we have to make a conscious decision to break the cycle. Amen. Oh,
Yes,
preach there. Go ahead, preach.
yes,
Go ahead, pastor. Go ahead,
yes,
pastor. Go ahead, pastor.
yes,
I know you love that. I know you
yes.
love that.
Rian, God bless you. No, and I spoke about this when we talked about body count, right? And we said you could got five people that know it in the streets, and then you got five fellas that in the upper echelon or whatever, right? I will leave careers and jobs out of it, occupations out of it, to protect the names of the innocent, right? But it matters, right? Because it's how they said for years, oh, they're like short ray women with big boxies, right? My mother to this day will tell you that because to her,
Shout out to mums.
shout out
Shout
the
out to
most,
mums.
to her, I had a type, right? We all got have a type, right? Got some fellas shoot maybe in this chat that like big girls. If that's your thing, that's your thing. You know what I mean? You got some girls out my late man, I got money. If that's your thing, that's your thing. Right? Then might got some fellas that like girls from this. You might see in them body count they got Natalie and Muscle Cat. That's them thing. Cause some fellas will tell you straight, I prefer to pay for it up front. I know where you get it. That's their thing. Right? That's their thing. If you know you got a particular type you like, and that type has not served you well, it would be in your best interest to get away from that type. Because don't look through the line. When you go back, and I said that a couple minutes ago, take accountability. Be accountable. Look through your history. And then you look back through history, you see you, as a fella, you look back through history, you see you, this girl I had, she was off the streets. This next one was off the streets. This one large, but she of this intergalactic superhighway, and you realize you got a train dealing with women who are of questionable morals, and then you get burned, and you
Questionable
still
repute.
go, you of questionable repute, and you still go look for women of questionable repute, dude. That's on you. That is on you. By the same
Yep.
token, girls, you go, you pick up with a man, one man he ain't got a job, and you realize you want help doing whatever. Because let me be real. Let me be real, we talking about let me be real. Sometimes it's run short. That's just a fact of life. Sometimes it run short. And don't care how you turn. This man say, nah, go right there, I can't help you with that there. Next fella you had, he's work off and on, 2 days out of every 7. And he's like, hey, can't help you with that. You keep choosing these kind of men and then you vex when you get burned. Take ability for the people you choose to lie down with. My 2 cents.
Mm-hmm. And that was the gospel according to Pastor Marshall. We thank for his offering. Rian, Rian, why our options decrease as we get older? We dry up? No, Rian, it's not that you dry up. It's just Derek was speaking from the context of just how men are built. We can have children well into our 70s, 80s.
Till death.
Women unfortunately have time stamp on when they can reproduce, and then on top of that, say, I know this can be a little controversial and touchy, but the truth is, men can be in a position to get a younger women more so than women can get a younger man, because younger men are not as stable as older men, are usually more stable than men earlier. So I don't know if that makes sense to you. Like,
We keep going
when
forward, because you want to get to Natalia here, so keep going forward.
there you go. There, okay. But yeah, I hope that clarifies it. We're not saying that you're all dry up or anything like that. It's just biologically and socially. Um, Natalia, you are so right. Terencia, messy statement. Rianne, I would use another word. Jennifer says,
Okay,
I
let me,
don't
let me
feel
jump in here.
options.
So let me jump in here. Natalia says, I don't feel options decrease because at this age I could date you or your daddy. And what? We go back to the very top of the show when they said it depends on what you are going into the dating pool for. Or let me say it the other way so that Renee doesn't get upset. It depends on that which you are going into the dating pool, right? Because you may be going into the dating pool and you may want a long-term relationship or marriage. But if you're a young fella, I might say, oh, I want it with girls, so then quit. Friction, problems, right? So it depends on the intention. His intention may be to hit and quit. You may want something more substantial than that. And that is where the problems come. Because generally, because of what you said earlier, Neil was alluding to just now, um, when we're talking pregnancy and stuff like that, there's a cutoff time. Ladies have a finite number of years, right? So there's a cutoff time. So if a young fella, so say a fella hitting me straight at 30, he's not necessarily looking for, and he's not looking to get into building a family and stuff like that. He's not looking for somebody 40 years old because we're talking geriatric pregnancy and all that now, and his window for that is significantly reduced, right? Even if we start talking about um, in vitro fertilization, etc. Even if you start looking at that, a man still wants, to have his children born like that. So you could date, yes. Nobody say you could date. Shoot, you may get a couple good nights over it too. But what is the ultimate goal? That's what you really got to ask yourself. Anyhow, so we're going on Terencia, Derek, and this paternity court. I think we may keep
Yes,
choosing what we're
friend.
used to. Greg says, is that out of pattern or familiarity? A man can only do what the old man used to tell me so forever, right? Natalia says, don't feel right. Tanya's cackling. Go Natalia says, Jennifer. How old is Natalia? Teresia. But as Teresia says, people are on their best behavior for the first 3 months, but the facade always cracks. You get an opportunity. If you watch and you look long enough, you look carefully enough, you will
Yeah.
see the little fissures in the facade. The challenges we get caught up with our investment of time, effort, money sometimes, and then a lot of times the sex what we get at least get caught up. That's my element. You know what I mean? And it's a little more difficult for us to untether ourselves from the situation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Terencia asked, what about the Jekyll and Hyde types? They're plentiful. Yeah, but again, keep your eyes open. Look at what you're looking at.
I like this
Clear.
comment here.
A fella I worked with said the first 2 years don't count.
I actually really like that comment based on my previous experiences. I would say not that they don't count, but that's when you start to see, that's when you do the unmasking in Scooby Doo.
Yeah. You turn out to be Jared Jackson. Jared Jackson look like future. Yeah, Rihanna says they thought men like crazy. No,
Oh, no, no, no.
no,
No, no, no, no,
nearly.
no. Hell no.
Let me let me break that down a little bit because I think the challenge is men think that way. People think that way that men like crazy. Men don't like crazy. Men like sex, and invariably the crazy quotient and the good sex quotient, like they tend to go hand in hand. So that's why you'll find it difficult for a man to shake off a crazy chick. You like crazy, you like sex. And because he figures, but shoot, the boy can't do it like she, he can hang in there. You know what I mean? Stefan asks, they got women that ain't angry. Are you only kidding?
Oh dear.
Yeah,
Oh
all right,
dear.
Stefan, you can leave it alone. See, also let that go down. As Rihanna said, we need to make conscious decisions for what we accept and what we don't and stick to it. Every individual knows what his or her triggers are, so we really got to do better for ourselves. That's true, Natalia. Derek, you think you can choose speak facts? Says Khadija. Tanya says behave. Yeah, Derek, you heard that story. It was so true, so true, all emotion and energy blocks the new. Yeah?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
in
Yes.
reference
Yes.
to
Yes.
the
Yes.
Steve Harvey story. Tony,
Yes.
older women can date 20-year-old, some 20-something-year-old younglings and up. Our options remain open even as we get older. But again, options for what? Because shoot, you may
Good
come,
night. A good time.
beat the brakes off here for a couple of nights, tell your friends you got a cougar and roll. If you cool with that, that's fine. If you want something a little bit more substantial, you you might be finding out uphill battle in that regard, but good luck to you if you got a young boy that, keep you warm at night. Right? So Natalia says, girl, if you dribble it, it can wipe you out. Yeah, that's good. Teresia carefully employ willing to converse or communicate. Tanya says to stop. Natalia, when you saw as Dion, I was referring to the extreme. Some things can be worked through, says Khadija. Yeah, indeed. Imagine last week or before you tell me you're changing. Wait, what we do?
Can't
Khadija
change
says
no.
manipulation, misplaced anger, lying, cheating, etc. are issues. Anastasia says, I remember hitting 30 and saying, boy, you didn't pull it. Met a guy who asked me out to the movies. He gave me the option to pick the movie and the time. I was like, wow, nice. Felt like some boxes were ticked. Then he said, so what time are you picking me? So what time are you picking me up? I can't come for you. My car illegal and you have to pay as well. No, there is a way to do things if you break and your car isn't paid for. That was not it.
That man's a sociopath.
Wow, I don't even know what to say to that. These are
Yeah,
my
that.
bare therapist for my traumas, and I'm not ashamed to say it. A heal a whole person when they meet someone.
Amen.
Relationships are work, and we all have to roll our sleeves up and put the work in. Amen. Terencia.
Amen. Hallelujah.
DJ, I find whenever you ignore red flags, you end up in the worst predicaments. Yeah. Just make sure that it's a real red flag and not like a
Yeah.
burnt
Yeah. Yeah.
orange. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Claire says, Jennifer, you don't have to use batteries. You can do like men move. You can do like men move like you. But here's the thing, Jennifer. You are still, you might want to hardwired like that, right? And okay, question for everybody else, or for everybody in the chat. When it comes down to the friends with benefits, which I think would be a very interesting topic for us to discuss here. When we talk friends with benefit, invariably, who gets caught up? Invariably, just type it there quick, right? And we'll see where you invariably you always seems to be the person who tends to have a little bit more take the relationship a little further. Man or woman, just take man if you think it's a man, take woman if you think it's a
we're
woman,
not
right?
saying we're not saying that both parties don't get caught up, but we're saying who normally would be the person to get caught up first or
Right?
get caught up at all.
Good night, Philip. Welcome. Good to see you again,
Good night,
buddy.
Phil.
Galentine's, what is that, man? Stop it. We all need to feel wanted / cared for and not by your dog or family member. Yes,
Oh Lord,
Terencia.
have mercy.
That
Oh,
is gospel
well
truth.
done, TC. Amen. Amen. Amen and
Yes,
amen.
that's true.
It's
Point
Safia.
taken.
Thanks for coming out, girl.
Says Philip to the Galentines, to TC's comment about Galentines. Sometimes you just haven't met the right person, so you rather be good by yourself until that person comes along. But are you really good? That's the question. Are you really good? Or is it that you are just in a holding pattern? Because you might say that you're good, right? You might say that you're good, but if you get somebody that is kind of a facsimile or an approximation thereof of the right person for you, you gone. You gone with that body. You know what I mean? So I don't really want to say that, yeah, you good by yourself, because as soon as you got the option to be with somebody that resembles what you're looking for, you get risk. Dion, we keep referencing that movie, but the time of the movie she realizes that isn't true. I can't remember what movie we were talking about. um, Nika.
Oh, my girl, Nika. Yes,
And they all
sir.
they
Nice.
they're it. But I find that many men date independent women because they feel they don't have to bring anything of consequence to the table. They like to receive and know within themselves that they do not want to commit, yet are not honest about it. Homosexual. Yeah? Homosexual. That's what you run into there.
Oh, shit.
Science agreeing, mess with your opinions for nothing. In vitro is expensive too, says Claire. 30,000 around. Can very young
Oh,
men help you with that cost? Nope. What if you aren't
dude.
successful? If you aren't successful in the first round? Then you're at 60K. Facts. So look for amount of means. Blair, crazy women, does do it the best. Here we go. A chatting with males feel that they are always in superior position where relationships are concerned. Many are not emotionally mature despite age. Facts. But again, where are you shopping? Where are you shopping? Because if you're going at
In
Sidams,
what I in
you
what
can get
I
if you're going at Sidams, you can get one particular thing. If you go in at, I don't know, Cave Shepherd, you can get something else.
mm-mm.
So
Women. Women.
look at where you're shopping, you know what I mean? Carry on, can I just add in here that some women are not out here in the dating pool to have children?
The
Some of us
night
have to
carrier.
come to terms with that, yet still cannot find someone who is able to balance you in a relationship. This is something I talk to my girlfriends about a lot, that men our age, late 30s to 40s, are not as together as folks think they would be. And so many women seem to be in limbo as their sales resort to doing bad all by themselves. Um, it's a process, right? It's a process. Men, everybody knows men kind of develop mature later. Is a process, and you kind of, and I will admit, even me myself and I needed some of that guidance along the way. Sure, I still need some of that guidance along the way. Um,
Wait,
you help me to,
you may have to repeat. You having some you dropping out now, so you may have
oh,
to repeat what we were
but
saying.
yeah, it is a process. And the man who is able to find a partner that can kind of aid the process along will definitely be able to round into the person that Carrie Ann is talking about. So you're not going to find the complete man. You're not going to find the complete woman. But it's about complementing. It's about when you meet that person, and that person helps you to be able to level up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that person comes to you, finds you, and then you're able to move from if you're operating at 75% capacity, you're able to move now to 80 and 90%. You know what I mean? But if you meet somebody and you're at 75%, you meet them and then all of a sudden you realize you're functioning at 50%. Nah, that ain't working, right? Dion, and then there is the next end of the spectrum where you're no intimidating because you're independent. I'll
Well,
tell you this. Again, where you're shopping, because only certain men are intimidated by that. Right? Interesting that you are limiting
ah,
options to having children, but just remember that isn't a goal for everyone. It isn't. It's not one. But if you are dating a man who is looking for that, well, you will love. You know what I mean? You may want a fella who is 30 years old. with no children.
Derek?
Yo,
Derek? Derek?
yeah,
You got me. I have to repeat that because you just you froze a bit there.
right. It depends on what you're looking for or what the person that you're checking out is looking for. Because you may not want children. This person may want children. That is sure. I was in the experience like that too, where the person I was with wanted children. I did not. That was a friction. That was some friction there. It had to end because it didn't make sense to kind of extend it too long, and then it's even more troubling to try to separate. You know what I mean? So yeah, we get it that everybody doesn't want children, but if it is, it's one of those things we can call a deal breaker eventually. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. Terence here, you know, I dated the chap 16 years, my junior. My first statement to the young man is, you should try dating someone your age because you are in your prime and should be looking to have a family. He swore, nah, some women are crazy and the child tells you to someone for life. I am thinking true, but still, check him out a year later. He wants children and I am too old. I
But
told
he
him watch his
confused.
ass because I told him this ass for this from day one. But all to say, we parted ways ain't good, but for a minute I lost it, and I mean lost it, true story. And I could get that because you said up front what the situation was,
He was honest with himself.
and
By
he was
extension,
right, and that was it. That's the situation there. Um, so let's don't get me started on that, Dion, which is I suspect that's a comment about being intimidating. Who benefited most? Not sure if it was about Uneka. Well, men, say women, say men, but I ain't telling you all my business tonight. Yes, you don't tell us our business, Natalia. Safia, the man. Okay, I got it now. Woman, person who catches feelings. That's Rihanna. Friends with benefit relationships. Facts. That's TC. Yes, I am good, says Jennifer. Yes, you are really good. You can be very happy alone. It doesn't mean you don't want to meet someone to settle with, but I'd rather be happy alone than miserable with someone. You're here, Luther Vandross said this. I'd rather have bad times with you than good times by myself. Come on, people. Listen to some R&B. Enjoy your own company first, says Rihanna. I was married. I know what I am willing to put up with, says Jennifer. Naka asks a hobo. What a homosexual? Wow, says Blair. Claire, I was once told I was bringing the conference room into the relationship. I was so lost.
oh wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Thank you, Riyadh. That says Tanya. I don't do stress, period. Men don't do stress either, Jennifer. Men don't do
Try,
stress.
try
I
hard
find
to
this,
avoid it.
Nick, I find this is a general trend. No matter where you're shopping, I find men tend to want someone to take care of them after whiling when they ain't able no more. Want
Derek,
someone to say,
Derek,
breaking up.
you're breaking up. Yeah, you're breaking up
Okay.
again.
All right. Yeah, Nick is saying, I find this is a general trend. No matter where you're shopping, I find men tend to want someone to take care of them after welding when they ain't able no more. Want someone to sit and hold their hand and be a companion. Why then? Then I assume is the inflection on that. Um, to be fair, uh, don't know if I have an answer for that. I know that kind of goes both ways because you find women tend to say that they've had their fun and now they're looking to settle down. So I guess that's the thinking behind it. But again, Nick, if you're finding a man that wants you
Hold
to just,
on, Derek. Derek, you can hear me? Derek?
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, you some the connection just went wonky there again. So you may have to start your thought again.
Yeah, Nick, I think you, again, a homosexual, you found somebody who just wants to come and, breeze over you and live off of you, essentially.
Hmm.
Um, Let me see. Read my intimidating comment. I wasn't shopping. He was. I thought by saying that maybe somehow it would change. Little did he know.
Little did he know.
Yeah, little did he know. Clear best way. What? Naked one, Mr. that he was being an ass, telling good times with someone else, Derek. You have your lyrics wrong. Yeah,
No, no,
lyrics.
no, no. Very bad. Google the lyrics now.
Yeah.
Uh,
Naked Derek, you asked who gets caught up first. I told you who benefits anymore. See, I get you. Shamika, we
okay.
live in a digital world where online shopping is a norm. Online shopping has expanded the pool, but also has also increased the incidence of returning goods because people are seen as more disposable. Clear, no need, we
Oh,
lost you,
it's
right?
me. Oh, sorry. Oh, I see what's going on here. Yeah, that's not me. Well,
Okay.
it is on my end, but I can't do anything about it.
Right?
Uh,
And observation. Tanya, yeah, I can hear Derek perfectly cool, so it's not me. Renee, lyrics were definitely wrong, Derek. All right, whatever. But thank you for the correction, guys.
mhm.
So yeah, a whole lot to unpack there
Yeah. So,
just now.
so what I would say is, yeah, what I would say is, everybody can hear me. There, you can hear me still? I
Yeah, man, I
sticking. I
got
don't know
you.
why it's sticking. Right. Yeah. So basically, I think it is not the dating pool that has pee in it. It is the people and your past experiences and what we carry around and what others are carrying around that have toxic things in them. And I always like to say everybody has toxicity in them, because they're holding on to either past traumas or there's something in their past that they're not seeking the right help for and not addressing. So with some of the commentary and advice from some of my close male friends, you kind of get on the horse. And so it's just things, right? I know people are bitter, and I've been bitter too. But you kind of gotta get to the root of what has you so bitter. Because as somebody mentioned earlier, you got kind of clear up the old before you could go forward with the new. I see Natalie Burke. Thanks for joining us. Good night, folks. Derek, I see you choosing Luther Vandross rather than right. Rather than carry alone than be unhappy. Oh Lord knows. Oh Natalie Burke. Yeah, all
Natalie
these musicians
comedic.
and lyricists coming in here now. Yeah, coming to bad up thing. Anyhow, um, yeah. So my thought on it is, as I said earlier, is first things first. You have to know where you are. If you know, like, you got stuff holding on to, you got heal from, whether it be from a past relationship, a past hurt, a past whatever, deal with it. Then once you get on that path, you got to kind of decide where you are and what you're about, right? In terms of what you're looking for from the dating pool whenever you get around to that. Once you know what you are, what you are and where you are, and you've accepted those things and you're working on those things and you know what you want and you know what you don't want, that is going to help you be discerning into when you go forward with your partner or your potential partner. And it would help to inform you if you want to have not that you should have that communication and create that space where you can speak openly and honestly and transparent about things. And you have to kind of make sure that the person, that unsexy conversation, if that person is being honest with themselves. Terencia made mention of the young man she was dating that said he didn't want children, he was just looking for whatever, and then he came back a
Yes.
year later say he want children. I've heard that from other women before, and I think that, you know again, you got to know where you are and what you're about. And I know you can
Yeah,
get upset at people, but
that situation though, that one
yeah,
sound
then yeah,
that cool.
then on. But you got kind of, you see, periodically, as you age, as time goes on, probably day by day, week by week, month by month, whatever time period is comfortable for you, you have to kind of do a self analysis. As you get older, the same way as you put your 2 feet, as you wake up, you put your 2 feet on the bed, you just be like, "Cha boy, how the back feeling today? Me all right?" The same way you do that, you have
Check
to do that
engine
for
light
your money.
on.
Yeah, you got to check. If you got, all of a sudden know you got pain inside, right? Um, the same way you do that, you have to do that for your mind. Every morning you wake up, you have to give thanks. You have to kind of clear your head, make sure you are you are clear on what you have to do that day and what space, mental space you want to occupy that day. And then as the day goes on and people try to get at you, you may have to readjust that. And then on top of that too, that goes the same way for relationships. Anything mental, anything that takes up your mental and emotional state, you have to kind of analyze it as you go, right? A red flag for some people may be I don't know, he does not like to watch chick flicks. You might want a man that watches chick flicks. If he doesn't watch chick flicks, it means that he is not in tune to his emotions. He's not willing to be emotionally vulnerable. Therefore, this is not a man I can live with the rest of my life, right? I mean, that's an extreme, but the point is that really a red flag? It's something you don't want, but are you going to let that stop you from having a man that is a wonderful provider? He may not be emotionally open or honest, but he is willing to try to be that. He's willing to do therapy. He's willing to address certain things. So for me, when I think about red flags, I am going to be honest and say I've seen red flags and unfairly attributed them to people based on past experiences. Because someone did something to me or because a situation ended up not working out so well, I became hypersensitive and hypervigilant and seeing things that really were not there. And to this day, I'm still struggling with it because I still need to work on letting go of things, letting go. Because there's a trust thing too, right? Like as I was telling a friend of mine, I would rather trust a woman with $1 million than with my emotions and my vulnerability, if you understand me, right? Because I know that I'm a good man. I know that I'm a good partner. I know that I bring a lot to the table. My issues, I am very self-aware, but I also know that I have that one else made a lot of plans with else, and then it not work out through a shift in mentality and the unwillingness to communicate and to be emotionally vulnerable in the space we have had before. So when I see certain things play out, when I dating people know, or when I or people I have dated before, since those things have happened, I am hypervigilant and I'm like, all right, you know what? You ask a woman, I realize you get kind of you seem kind of off today. What's wrong? You want to talk about it? No, nothing. I don't want to talk about it. And my mind, I'm like, oh, okay, I see what this is. The woman I had XYZ years before, she don't want to talk. She tell me the same thing, and look what happened. So you know what? I stepping back and they done with that. But it's not really fair because it may really be something she's processing and she needs to take time to confront. So you can't really paint everybody with the same brush. And red flags are things where I find you gotta be kind of, I'm not saying to let down your guard, but by the same token, I'm not saying to take anything and run with it as a deal breaker. You understand? You will know for sure things you cannot live with, for sure. And you will know things that you can't tolerate. But don't ever sit down and say, the man ain't open the door for me today, so you gotta be cheating. Don't do that. Man, don't be like, you know what? I messaged this woman at 10 o'clock and she ain't answering me, she by another man. Don't do that. You understand? Kind of
Be reasonable.
Yeah, be reasonable. Be reasonable. Yeah.
That's where it is. And they can say, why is it so difficult to fathom that some people get used to being single and can't be bothered and aren't bothered about it? Yeah, but that's a phrase a friend of mine would call resigned acceptance, as opposed to just to really being happy. There's a difference between, being happy about the options and resigned to the fact that these are the options they have. You know what I mean? Omar Brathwaite.
Wait, hold on there. Before you go on, hold on. I want to address that because I understand you can be happy being single. There's nothing wrong being happy being single, but there are people, especially women, that take that happiness to mean being in a relationship is unhappiness, is stress. It's not to me. I don't see it as being bitter. Yes, you can be happy alone while still desiring to have that right person to move with.
But the people who are saying more often than not that they can do battle by themselves and they're happier alone, don't appear to be happy. That is the problem.
But that's yeah. Some people are like that, but then there are some people that are genuinely happy alone.
And we get it, but the
But you
exception
see,
does not mean
but don't
the rule.
yes, and it's not that they're happier alone. They are happy alone. If you understand what I'm saying. So we got to make that distinction that we're not saying that. Well, I am not saying. I think they're saying the same thing. It's not that you are happier being alone. It is that there's nothing wrong with being happy alone, but still having the desire to be with that right person and
Yeah.
having someone to help you be happy.
Omar, shut up, Omar. I'm not sure if this is the first time you've been here. Not to blame her, but can it be that she was so cool? Oh boy, it moves. Could it be that she was so cool that she turned his mind? I think that's what the question said. Yeah, she changed being tied to somebody. Man would say women are crazy and he doesn't want to be tied, and TC brought the sweetness and he realized it wouldn't be so bad. uh, that's a real true devil's advocate there. I don't think that's exactly what went down. Naker said, Neela, is human behavior. If the hurt is deep rooted, then it's harder to overlook look them if you see it in another. Terrence, that's true.
Wait, hold on. Neka replied to Neka. She's saying it's harder for men to be alone. I find that women. Do you find that? Do you think it's harder for us to be alone than it is for women to be alone? Or is this something that has popped up because of where we are now in terms of culture and how easy it is to get sex? Because you know we're very sexual creatures. We are more we are we tend to be more physical than women generally. So do you think that that's because we have gone into a society where a woman could you know a woman could drink her wine, read her books, have her pets, but men in terms of their purpose and what they're about and how they go about things will always be resigned to having to tear that edge off, whether it be sexually or emotionally, more so than women. You think that's so?
No, I missed you just now because I was reading chat. So give me again.
I can't remember what you just said. Right, I was saying, do you think that because men are, like Tanika's point where she was saying it's harder for men to be alone than women, do you think that is because for women, they could find other ways and means to cope and to deal with things more so than men, where men have always had vices, like whether it be alcohol, whether it be sex, whether it be workaholic, whatever. Like you ain't gonna hear a man say, "I'm gonna start home and read tonight with my nice wine and my dog." You understand? Or you're not gonna hear a man say, "I'm gonna take up a hobby like learning a language or knitting." So, do you think that women are, as Nika said, that it's harder for men to be alone than women because women have ways and means and support systems and certain things in order to cope? Ariana,
I
I'm
would
not
say,
saying that women are not. Sorry. Well, you go ahead. You go ahead. I can get to Terry.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I think women do have a better way of coping. Um, that is way more measured. Let me put it that way. As you said, we tend to, but in times past, let me say that, because I don't think the modern man is like that. But in times past, you would resort to things like alcohol, etc. But now I find that men kind of go into sports, going to the gym, um, or they just pour themselves into work. You know what I mean? And I think that helps men to cope a little bit better in terms because we don't talk it, right? Women have been always able to talk it for centuries. You know what I mean? That is not something that we do very well. So we have to find other ways of kind of internalizing. It's only now coming into the more modern man, the more evolved man, if you want to call it that, you find that men are able to talk to one another
Right.
and
Being
talk
more
through
in touch
stuff.
with their emotions. Yeah.
Right. Um,
Yeah.
I Nika saying she finds it that women cope better alone. I don't know if I necessarily agree. Um, I can't say I agree. I find because men have no choice but to be alone more often than not after having gone through like a bad breakup or whatever. unless you are fortunate, like we are, Neil, we have a group that you could kind of lean on. A lot of men, particularly in the Caribbean context, do not have that.
No
Women always,
positive.
yeah, because something like that happen, you hear man up, get
Yeah,
over
drink
that
sand
there.
and foop sand. Yeah,
Yeah,
drink sand and foop sand stream.
yeah, get over that there. You know what I mean? Women are not necessarily that um, harsh in how they deal with it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it may be more difficult for men to be alone, only because they have no choice. But I think both sides have their ways of coping with it. Okay, let me go back here.
Yeah, Omar.
Right. Why is it so difficult to fathom that? And Renee says it seems so. Tanya agrees with Nika. Terence is saying in that case, I serve my purpose as God would have it. I believe God places people in our lives for a reason and a season. Terence here. Why is it so difficult? And Renee is saying, and there's always the assumption that women like that are bitter and hurting, when that is certainly not always the case. Agreed.
Agree.
Agreed. Agreed. Unfortunately, the women who are bitter, are hurt, and angry are usually very vocal and usually push their stuff out there for the world to see. And there's always this ad hominem attacks against whomever. You know what I mean? So it comes over as I saw Stefan ask earlier in the chat if there are any women that aren't angry. You know what I mean? So we have a case where the few now represent the all the same way you say men in the use, men in that, men in this, and those few men represent the all, right?
Mm.
Let me see. Neither is human behavior if used right. Right, we talked about that earlier. I've heard this. Renee says Tanya. Renee, exactly. You must I be bitter? I may just be learning to love myself or do things that I want to without the stress. Again, an observation. Nothing wrong with that. There are some people who are simply in a good place being alone. They are stable and well adjusted, still engaged with men, but are just during that stage of their lives not focused on dating, says Renee. If I ain't answering after a certain time, trust me, I'm trying to make some damn money, says Terencia. Derek, where you feel happiness lies in someone, you have to make yourself happy before someone
Oh
can make you
boy.
happy. Jennifer, I will never be the person to sit here and say to you,
Never,
happiness lies in
Jennifer.
someone else.
You
Not me.
trust me, Jennifer. You reading that wrong. You reading that wrong.
Not
Trust me.
me.
I would be the more person to do that. I don't
Yeah,
believe in somebody else making you happy, but trust me, not
it
there.
will be me. It will be
It
me.
will be there. It will be there.
Uh, Tony, no, there you can't assume or presume to label it as resigned acceptance. Some people are simply happy in their own company, and to them, a relationship is secondary, and that's all well and fine. That's great. Terencia, Renee, and Nika, I love my own company, but sometimes at 2:35 a.m., I want someone to toss my legs over. Shout out Natalia on that.
Hold on. What is Buddhist women at this 2:30? For when is the rich now it's 2:37 for one? That's
Apparently,
been
that
that's
is the
been it.
time.
That's
That is the Senate time. 2:35 a.m. It's the Senate time. As
time
said
for
by Natalia,
Congress.
right?
Yeah.
I disagree with it being resigned. Acceptance resignation does not have to be a consequence of a conscious decision to be alone for some stage in one's life. Claire says yes, it is harder for men to be alone. Omar says nope. Toya harkens back to single women being bitter. I don't want us to think or to assume that because you are resigned to the fact that you're single because you think there's pee in the pool, or you have decided consciously, I good by myself. I don't need anybody around me to confuse me. I don't want you to believe that we believe that means you're bitter and hurt because we interact with you guys every week here and we don't get any bitterness, right? We don't get any bitterness. We don't think that you guys are bitter at all,
I mean, we made jokes with Nika, but we don't. I don't think that Nika is genuinely bitter. I mean,
right?
she's just straightforward. It's not. I
And
don't
I
think
say
she's
that
bitter. So
you ladies in here who are not bitter, know very well of other ladies who are bitter, are hurt, and particularly angry. So while it may not apply in here, it certainly does apply outside of this chat, right? If you know the ladies, give them a little give them a little advice, a little help behind. Tell them come and check the Senate.
Yeah,
Let's talk
yeah,
the
check
things
yo.
here.
So, I see Dion with a bad my message here about 2:35 equal mine goes. Not tonight, Dion. Not tonight. We're not doing that tonight, right? Continue, Derek. I just want to address that before it goes along.
Yeah, address that. Claire says yes, it is harder for men to be alone. Right, we talk about that. He may not say it, but that doesn't mean he won't do it. Says Omar. Do men really do alone though? Aha, aha. Thank you, Natalie, for bringing some sage wisdom to the chat. Because after, I know, ladies, you hear this saying about the best way to get over a man is to get under a new one or something like that, right? Trust and believe, ladies. The same thing applies to men in spades.
I would say
In
even more so.
spades. So, ladies, if you got a man, right, and you decide for whatever reason y'all broke up or whatever, and you decide you are going out seeking love or whatever, or just a quick fix, something to give you that validation to make you feel a little better. If that man is anything worth his salt, and I am assuming that all the ladies in this chat are looking for men that worth the salt, that dude got some options, and he's gonna exercise them. He is gonna exercise them. So when you might do like Ross and Rachel, and we put a break, that dude can exercise some options, right? So let's letting it be clear. So is a man ever really alone now, Natalie? I That's a question. There's a question there. I get left out for the people to answer. And it certainly can't be a battery operated instrument. Oh, that's all it is. Not
I,
disagree
call,
with you. Just don't.
I can start calling women in this chat the 230 crew.
It's true. 230 crew. 230 crew. Not disagreeing with you. Just don't let the narrative that if you're better, you choose to stay single. Yeah, we talk about that. We don't make that assumption that because you're single that you are, right? Women get caught up first, especially if she's dealing with a line of idiots before. One may come along who seems to be less than one, seems to have his shit together and his joystick working, not in that order always. And it isn't that she's looking for a savior. Speaking for myself, it is more than just looking for a break, someone worthwhile, and someone to talk to, for example, when the nights get cold or as of late, when the days get dark. Yeah, somebody to DVD Ash.
Yeah.
Not maybe line with friends, work out different things. We, on the other hand, will truly be alone. Terencia is giving you all advice as an elder stateswoman. Claire, think of yourself as other men you know at 65. How many live alone? No, I'm sure you know one or two older sputtering alone by themselves. Yes, Claire. It is extremely hard, but not impossible. If a man concentrates on pouring into himself, he would find it easier. Amen.
That's quite
Fernando, good to
Blair.
see you, my brother. I believe that being single for a prolonged period helps with self-discovery. I never really subscribe to the idea that partnership brings completion or some profound revelation of yourself. Amen.
Man,
Be the
Fernando, I love it.
best version of you. Be the best version of you for you. And then you can attract the right kind of energy to you. Right? Most often, but not all the time, when a woman has sex, there is an emotional connection. So women find other ways of coping. Not saying we don't casual sex, but men are physical and seek sex, so they are always hooked with a woman. Blair says facts, Derek. Tonya, I've had a man say that I'm bitter because I expected him to cancel rather than just not show up. I would have totally understood had he canceled, but when he said hi the next day, I didn't mention it. And I said what happened. He said it was bitter straight on the back.
Well,
It's a little cowardly.
yeah,
That's a
yeah,
little cowardly. That's all it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
He
Being
sounded
talking,
intimidated. He sounded
yeah, being talking
intimidated.
about them, sorry, man. Being,
Correct.
being talking about them.
Right, and Walmart is agreeing with Fernando. Plenty or aunts living alone, it's true clear. I've had a man say that bit right, and be honest, in short, because the bitter trope is common with men as an excuse. Yes.
Yep.
And Tony is very leery of the accusations of bitterness,
Mm.
as it should be. As it should be. But as Neil said, just now we ain't talking about anything.
We can get there. We can get there, people.
Yeah. Oftentimes you hear get under somebody to get over somebody. Worst advice I ever took, however, lesson learned. Derek, could
Yep.
it not be a defense mechanism? Let me run you before you hurt me. Yes, it can be.
Yes.
Um, well, what is it that we are called bitter as soon as we speak up? Lord have mercy. Dion with this dangerous comment here.
Just pass that comment because we're not getting it. We're not doing that.
Yeah, people breaking down at it.
Right. Let me just skip over all these.
Yeah,
Look, see, come. Don't let me. Yeah, just we can start with Rihanna.
It says many women and men are
Sorry.
bitter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Her Rihanna says I was bitter and angry at men, and I have many male friends, so they would not know. But I literally had to take a step back and do some soul searching and healing. Yes, healing.
Yeah, I never knew you. I never ever would have thought you would be a bitter person. So at least I'm glad that you did some soul searching and you know.
Therese, right? Natalie says correct. Therese says my plugs in, no batteries required. I hope you.
That don't seem very practical, Terencia, because you are at the mercy of where your plugs is.
She's over the wall.
Supposed to go to the bathroom and you feeling the itch and you ain't got the
panels. You want some solar panels? Vaulting. Nick, I think we all have these periods in life. Wait, plug in. What you mean rechargeable? Like Stiffy, but plug into all. It's like you're working with the great very well, you man, you do your thing. Yes, rechargeable, Omar. Fernando just looking in. Back up, Fernando. Happy to see you, brother.
Yeah.
Omar says, "Oh, but there are a lot of people in a relationship just because but aren't happy." Thank you about the bit of comment. I thought it had a long cord. I thought it had a long cord as well. To be fair,
I see in. Yeah, this don't make sense. So I'm looking on Facebook to the comments. The Facebook comments have stopped, but the comments still come in the chat. Anyhow, there was a comment where Karen was talking about women. Women are interested in sex too. It's not just men. I'm not saying that. I know that women do have, and some women do have as high a sex drive as men. However, men express themselves best physically. We would be more inclined to have sex to show our true emotion and hide behind that than to actually have a face-to-face conversation and talk about the I love yous and I miss you and that kind of thing. So that's what I meant. So Derek, boy.
yeah.
This man have the podcast reading comments. This is amazing. I really do.
It was a little hotter than we anticipated.
Yeah, and I do. At the end of the day, we do appreciate your comments and your engagement. And while we may not agree on everything, like people were talking about bitterness, men being alone versus women, and who catch, etc., etc., etc. The salient point is that it is not the dating pool. There's the individual who you are and what you have to deal with in terms of your trauma, your purpose, and the other person you're engaging and their trauma and their purpose, right? It is very hard for both people to be on the same page and have those conversations, the unsexy conversations, and be in spaces to have that type of engagement to really get to the bottom of individual trauma and trauma that they can work out through their relationship. So, the chat's still going. Nick is saying, seriously though, if people are honest about their expectations in a relationship and communicate honestly, I think that exactly, yeah, we talked about that earlier, and essentially that's what you're saying right now. So agreed. Claire, once everybody can handle the truth, and that's the thing. And I could tell you as a human being, sometimes you don't want to accept the truth within yourself. Right? You got to be honest with yourself first. Once you can be honest with yourself first about anything, you can be honest with other people. So once you do that, you're honest with other people, to me, it doesn't matter if you can handle it or not. You got to be able to look at yourself objectively, and from a removed perspective, right? And say, look, Neil, tell you the truth, right? You say you don't want a woman, you say you don't want a relationship, but you really do want to be married and have the white picket fence. You know what I mean? You got to be honest with yourself and say, look, I have had a challenge, a step back, but I want more. And within that, you can move forward with purpose. Tony.
Exactly, Terence is saying maybe the pool is not horrible. We just need to communicate with each other honestly.
That's why you don't know where the pool is. Too many dishonest persons. Tony, human nature. That's unfortunately a lot of people walking about lying to themselves. That's just, and I think I would even venture to say most people are walking around lying to themselves, right? Whether it be with relationships, whether it be past hurt, emotions. At some point, we walk about and we tell ourselves things to get by and to cope. Lies. So can't really hold it against the pool. You can hold it against the people, but that shouldn't stop you from trying if that's what you want. Communication is the key, but a lot of people can't communicate, says Jennifer Taneka. That is fact. Some people, all right, Derek talked about that. My man Fergs, thanks for joining, Greg. Honesty is definitely the key. I think honesty is a good filter to have too, agreed. And we have naked and clear, but the deceit is far worse. Yes. Yeah, I think at the end of it, there, I think we are all here saying the same thing. We all agree that ain't nothing wrong with the pool. Ain't wrong with the water in the pool, and the water being the people. And the water needs chlorine. It needs cleaning. You need to get rid of the algae, right? So the moss. So it can be done. You can meet someone. You can find happiness. Well, not find happiness. That's wrong. You can find happiness within the context of a relationship, or find a semblance of happiness within a relationship. You just have to first, as my mom there said, every week, every episode, be the best version of you, and that entails working on you, working on your purpose, healing from past traumas, working on your health, your wealth, your spirit, your mental, working on you. However that look to you, man, woman, beast. However it looks to you, do it in healthy and positive ways. Nothing wrong with therapy. I'm an advocate. Trust me, my boys could tell you. I've had, because of this podcast and because of some of the honesty I've said about my therapy, people have been calling me, asking me for advice on therapy. I have no problem talking about therapy. It means that this side of the world is messed up. Being a human, interacting with other humans is messed up. I need help. I ain't got no manual on me. So, focus on your purpose, focus on who you are, healing, getting better, being better, doing better, and everything else will fall into place. Trust yourself, trust your gut, be discerning, give people a chance, and take the lumps as you go. So this has been an amazing night. I did not expect so many people coming out and engaging, but we do thank everyone for coming out, watching, commenting.
Sure.
And we look forward to further engagement. Derek, I can let you close it out. I remember you said you came up with a suggestion today about a submission, so you can talk about that. Close this out.
Because since we started this little community, I find that people send me stuff. A lot of people send me something and say, "Yeah, I think this would be a pretty cool topic to talk about." Trust me, we are going to do your topics. We are going to do your topics. We got a whole set of stuff that the topics we wanted to touch on. Your topics tie in sometimes with what we already have planned out. Mm-hmm. But we are going to do your topics. We really, truly appreciate the fact that you took the time to research stuff and submit it. Interestingly enough, most of the comments, the contributions are coming from men. The men seem to want to get their side of the story heard, and that is what we are here doing. We are here to facilitate that, so that you ladies who are interested can hear what men have to say, hear how we think, hear how we reason out certain things, because it's not the same as women do. So We are here. We are here to facilitate that. We are going to get to your topics, and probably sooner rather than later. Some of them are going to be scenarios. We're going to put those out, and we're going to have a back and forth as we had tonight about those scenarios, right? And as usual, we really want your guys' interaction and your commentary on the scenarios that we presented. So yeah, feel free to send them out. Neil and I were even thinking of maybe once a month we could do a fast submission night and just do a whole set of them one time. But due to the engagement we get, we probably won't be able to get past one or two of them.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably just tackle them bit by bit as we go through within the Tuesday and Thursday night episodes. But yeah, we love the engagement. We love the fact that you guys are taking the time to think about these things with us and come in and discuss them with us. We really appreciate it. Tell your friends. I saw Natalie here for the first time tonight. I saw Omar. I think Omar was here last week though. I saw both Fernandos in here tonight.
Yep, man,
we really appreciate it, guys. Keep it going. Invite some more of your friends and stuff like that. Let them come in. I see we are going past the hour and a half that we know how to do deal.
2.5 hours here. Exclusive of the music, we have about 2 hours and 45 minutes.
And we still nearly at 40 people, right, watching. So that's pretty cool. We like that. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. As always, be the best version of you for you. We're going to be back again on Thursday night.
Yes.
Clearly, there's more to unpack for the dating pool stuff. So we can talk about that a little bit on Thursday again. I'll post a question for you on Wednesday evening so you can start wrapping your brain around it and we can discuss it on Thursday. So yeah, man, we happy to see you. We appreciate it so much. Thank you. And as always, guys, be the best version of you for you.
Amen and amen. Good night, everybody. Peace and love. Stay safe.